Hello! Welcome to How I Spent the Apocalypse, or as Lynn wants to call this batch of them, the best laid plans. So I'm still working on cleaning this out. So I'm taking a bunch of this stuff. You saw me use it for bedding. You saw me use it to make a gutter system. Now if you'll look back here, you'll see there's a bunch of plastic gacky shit. Okay? There's a 55-gallon drum though that's very, very useful. I'm going to pull it out of here because the next project I'm going to do, you know, in order to clean this building so I can do what I want to do in this building without stacking this shit all over the yard.
Right.
So, like I said, 4 billion projects. So, here's an old 55-gallon drum that Mike bought. Knowing where we get them, bought it, it probably cost him between $5 and $7. Could have been cheaper, who knows. Okay, you can see here where it says goat, that's where he has goat feed. That's what he kept his goat feed in. But he didn't need it, so he left it here. Alright, so what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to take this and I'm going to build an outhouse.
An outhouse.
An outhouse. Why do I need an outhouse? Because eventually we will have this place up and running again, you know, if COVID-19 ever ends. You know, if dumbasses can quit spreading the disease long enough for it to be a non-issue, or we get a vaccine, whichever comes first. But eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to open up again. When we do, I have several projects I want to do that are going to be basically out here in the yard. I don't necessarily want people running back and forth into the house all the damn time, letting the heat out, letting the cold out. And I just assume people use an outhouse. Why? Because believe it or not, it's better for the environment. Okay. So, in order to do that, and not have it just trashing the groundwater, what you want to do is you want to make your own little mini septic system. So it's basically, what is it? It's a composting toilet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my drill out of here, turn everything back on. Watch this, everything's on a power cord strip. Not that this is a Michigas mess or anything, but I'm running an extension cord under the ground over to here, and then I just have everything on a power strip. I turn it on, now everything's on. It's genius! Or 5 seconds from burning everything down, I'm not sure which! Sometimes genius is hot! Alright, so, first step.
Paddle bit.
Getting a paddle bit. What's the paddle bit for? I'm going to drill holes in that. Well, how can it contain the shit if I drill holes in it? Well, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Quit pushing it. Wait for it. Wait for it! Alright. Don't pretend like you don't have everything on extension cords at home. Unless you're rich, you've got everything running on extension cords everywhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have this 55-gallon drum. I'm going to go about 6 inches from the bottom, drill a series of holes. About a foot apart. All the way around. You might want to take that, turn that off, because they don't need to watch me drill.
Do this forever? Okay.
Okay, so we've drilled the holes all the way around. The idea of that is, I'm going to dig a hole, okay, and the bottom doesn't have any holes in it, of course, and so for that reason, the liquids will go into the bottom. I will put Rid-X or some other bacteria thing that you would normally put in your septic tank into this system. This system will be in a hole that'll be about this much bigger than what I'm burying it in. And so what'll happen is there'll be gravel and rocks, probably knowing me because I don't have a lot of that stuff right here. It'll probably be whatever I can find and a bunch of broken glass. And I'll throw in the bottom of it. Okay, so how will that work? It will work like a leach field. So what will happen is, as the fluids come up, all of the waste will be digested down in the bottom of this, and the only thing that will flow out is the liquids. Once it gets to 6 inches, it'll start to flow out. That will allow it to go into the leach field, and just like a septic system, which both of our houses are on, it'll leach out, go into the groundwater, not cause a mess. Okay. So now, so where am I going to put this? Well, we're in the bottoms. So the bottoms means that water wants to stand everywhere. So what I did was, one day, when there was water standing everywhere, I looked around the place to find the best place to put it where it had access to a couple of things. One of those things which I'm going to show you today, briefly. I'm going to show it to you briefly because I want to really show it to you when I go to work on it. But at any rate, so if Lynn will follow me, we will head across the yard. Or she can turn it off and turn it back on, whatever the hell she... All right, so right here is a natural high spot. Okay, this area, water will pool up all the way around here, no water here. So this is where I'm going to put the outhouse. Now, I'm not going to be able to dig this hole with this shovel. I'm going to have to go get a brake bar and everything else in order to dig this earth. Okay? I will dig down to about this high. I will leave this part up about the right height for setting. Okay? And that's going to be the start of this outhouse, which all of the crap that I need to build it is in that building. So when I get this project done, even more of that building will be empty. You might have noticed there's some plastic pieces of crap in there. Some of those aren't any good. I will probably cut them up and use them for fill around this area, everything else. And then you'll see, because we'll probably do this in stages, but we won't necessarily do it all at once for you guys. But the reason why I want to do it here, the main reason, is if Lynn will pan up, you can see that we have a ginormous tree fort. Not going to tell you all about it. We'll save that for some later time. We have a ginormous tree fort that mostly my son, the genius, built. Okay? I have been working on it and done other stuff to it. I'm going to do all kinds of neat stuff to it, and hopefully we'll still be making those and you can see those. But what I want is eventually I'm putting a cabin up there where you can sleep in there. Well, I don't want people sleeping in there to go in the freaking house.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to put it here. It's located in this high spot. I originally was going to use that high spot over there, and I decided that when I build this, I will build a gas pipe that comes off the back of it and goes up really high to take any, just like you have gas. You don't know this, or unless you're a plumber, you don't know this, but the toilet in your house has to have a gas pipe that goes up through the ceiling. If it doesn't, the methane gas will boil up in your commode and it will smell like sewerage, and or it can explode. So that's fun. So I'm gonna get to work on this, maybe have Lynn come out, unless I can't do it. Don't turn it off yet, unless I can't work very long. Because here's what you need to know. You know how everybody's always whining, they all have problems, they're all depressed, they're all anxious, they're all afraid, they all have pain all the time? Well, everybody does. I have chronic fatigue syndrome, and I'm diabetic. Right now I'm in the middle of an episode. If you look, I got a brace on my knee because my knee blew up. No apparent reason. My joints are all swollen. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to dig this hole today. Because I can either do that, I can either work and just work through the pain, or I can get nothing at all done ever. And I find that I do better, and that doesn't mean that everybody can do that, but I do better when I just work through it. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Also want to plug my good friend, Hugo Award-winning artist. Applaud his Hugo.
Yay, yay.
He just won it. John Picasso.
Yes.
He will immediately get on, by the way, and tell me that I have pronounced his name wrong. Okay, because I always do. But at any rate, John has created the most amazing design for masks and is selling them. They look like death skulls on the bottom part.
Oh, yeah.
And it is beautiful representation of his work. So if you want a mask and you want one really cool, buy one from John. And so there.
I'll try to put a link in
So
here.
John, you can plug my YouTube channel. Bye. All right, so another part. All right, so what I did was I took the ground spray paint that, by the way, I didn't buy. Somebody threw it away and I took it. But it's the stuff that sprays on the ground. It's really handy. You can use regular spray paint too, by the way. But I took it and sprayed it around. I put my barrel in the middle and then figured out about 6 inches around it, sprayed it. No, I didn't fucking measure it. Just like I didn't measure for the 6 inches from the bottom of the barrel. And why is that, Lynn?
I forget.
Measuring is for sucks. That's why.
That's right. I
Measuring is
apologize.
for sucks. So, whenever you're doing something like this, I always suggest, first off, if you've lived on a homestead, in a farm, just had a nice big yard, you know there are high spots and low spots in your yard, or water problems and stuff like that. So whenever I dig a hole, I like to know, and it's not one where you're going to put the dirt back in. Whenever I dig a hole, I like to know where I'm going to use that dirt to fill in someplace. So as soon as I get a wheelbarrow load, I'll show you where that is. So I'm sure you've all heard people say, don't forget the little people, and they're talking about a friend who's being lifted up. And when they say that, there's a lot of things that people say, and that at first I hear them one way, and then I realize there's a whole layer to that that you don't even realize. You know, because I'm sure when most of us hear that, we mean, you know, hey, you know, mention us, man, when you're a big shot. Don't forget us. Come visit us. Do this, do that. It's actually much deeper than that. That whole, don't forget the little people. So I've been in the entertainment industry. I've never made it, but I've been in it and been around other people that did make it most of my life at this point, because I'm 60. Okay, my first published story when I was, what, 27?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been around it a long time. And what I notice is there's two kinds of people. There's one kind of person that when they make it, when they do well, they want to take everybody, not just the people they know. From that moment on, when they see somebody who's working hard and who isn't making it, they go and they take their hand and they lift them up. They give them a hand. Too many times in my industry, I've seen people that were nice people, easy to get along with, good-hearted, blah, blah, blah. They get even a modicum of fame, and they not only forget the little people, they forget who they were. All of a sudden, they start judging everybody as beneath them. I had a friend who, you know, got usually ticked off at something I did and trashed my ass out, threw me under the bus to make a point. When that person was struggling, back when we were both struggling and it wasn't just me, they were cool people. they were the kind of person that you felt like you could count on and that they had your back. The minute they made it, big fuck you to everybody else. They're above everybody else is beneath them. Seen it a lot. But I've also seen the other, where people get even a modicum of success and immediately start pulling everybody else up. And here's the thing. In a world where big business and number crunchers are taking over and forcing us into ever and ever smaller pieces for ourselves, we need each other. We need when something goes well, somebody gets something a little bit more, they need to pick other people up, not push them down. Okay, so, cheap ass handle, did you hear that? My cheap shovel. I did a job, many years ago I did a job. When I got done doing the job, the guy had bought this shovel, he didn't want it, so he sent it home with me. So, if the handle breaks, it breaks. Okay, what am I doing? I'm chopping it up. Why am I chopping it up? There's a high clay threshold here. Lots of clay in this dirt. So I'm having to, which is going to make nice. It's going to make a nice basin for this outhouse because it is clay. It's got a lot of clay in it, so it'll hold it longer and clean it better before it goes down. So, okay. And as you can see, nothing is ever easy. I'm digging a damn hole. I'm having to chop dirt, right? Okay, so what was I talking about before? Okay, follow me over here, Lynn, or turn it off and restart it. I don't care.
I get to film your ass this way.
God damn it, Lynn, are you taking pictures of my ass again?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so whenever they put this trailer in, they graded it wrong. And the grade is wrong. And so we've had a hell of a time with when we get lots of rain, it winds up running underneath the damn house, which isn't good for anything. Okay, so as I'm digging that dirt out, I'm bringing it over here and I'm putting it against here and I'm picking it up and changing the grade so that hopefully at least part of the water will not run under the damn house. So, this is yet another step in this process. I don't know, having a day. At any rate, I will talk to you again later. Thank you, and goodbye. Okay, take a picture of the hole there. Okay, as you can see, if she's got a good enough picture of the hole, I dug down roughly 2 foot. And even though we just had rain, there was not any water in that hole. So now, what I need to do is run water in that hole so I can continue to dig. Because right now, as I get further in that hole, and it's even drier, which I don't know why. Why, God? Why? But as I get even further, it's even drier and it's even harder to dig. So what you do is, if you'll dig, now if I was smart, what I would have done was just dug down a little ways and water the earth. But I'm not that smart. So I didn't do that. So I dug all of that with it dry and like brick. And now I'm going to put some water in it. But of course, the freaking hose won't reach. So I'm just going to stand here like this and fill that fucking hole with water. I don't expect you to watch me do that. It's really stupid. But as a guy, I do this so it looks like I'm pissing.
Oh, you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, I know. At any rate, that's what you can do to make a hole a little bit easier to dig. Dig down a little bit, fill the son of a bitch with water. No matter what you do, just count on it taking twice as long, being 3 times as frustrating, and costing twice as much as you thought it was going to, and you'll be okay. That's the math. Thank you.
And we'll finish this in part B,
Well, I don't know.
or at least continue it.
I don't know what we're doing.